And we are back, part 2, round 1 at the 2020 Resistance Discs Open at Camp Serene. I'm Scott Withers, here with the tournament director, tournament sponsor, owner of Resistance Discs, and I could probably give you 1,000 more titles for this video, Mr. Jeff Korns.
What's up, Scott? How's it going?
It's good. So we just watched the front 9, some birdie holes, some good shots, some missed opportunities, and as we come off of that 9, Chandler and Andrew Nava. Chandler Fry, Andrew Nava leading the card at 3 under. I'm at 2 under, and Dustin is at even. We get into the back 9, which is shorter and much more technical.
Yeah, hole 10 is definitely a contrast from what we just saw on hole 9. Slightly downhill hole, bending to the right. It was a little short technical for it. You want to tell us a little bit more about it, Scott?
Yeah, downhill for sure. It has to go essentially as far right as you can make it go. Chandler's going to line up. Maybe his Z Extreme again. I don't know exactly what he threw. He was playing this course for the first time. Throws it a little bit too far. I feel like it's got to be as tight to the right side as possible. And if this hole's 360, it's because it is like directly over my right shoulder, kind of going diagonal with where the basket actually ends up at.
Yeah, the distances for this back 9 might be off of like the U-disc distances, and they don't factor in the combined holes we have. So the actual hole 10 is probably the 360-foot hole. This is probably about 250 feet or so.
I was gonna say it's pretty short. It's almost as soft as you can throw a fairway driver forehand. Dustin going a little lower with a Glow FD3. I didn't think this was like a viable option. He's played here a lot more than I have though, and he throws a really good shot.
Yeah, Andrew's hugging this right side really tight, just sneaking inside the corner tree, which you can do, and he might have himself a look if he gets cleanly through.
Yeah, and I think he did. We'll call that a bad shot birdie putt. We'll see if he can cash in on it or not. Chandler and I are kind of out of total make range, but we can see the basket, so we're both pretty aggressive when it comes to putting. He misses a little left and bounces over a creek that is casual, so if we end up in there, you get your free relief, or you can stand in it and putt. It's kind of the only water other than the pond on this course, which is a lot more well-defined. We both throw up air balls, though, and he's over the creek, and I'm in the creek currently.
Yeah, this one right now is just about ankle deep, so definitely the move to play a casual. A lot of players are probably seeing this course for not that many reps, so ending up in that creek is not really a fun place to be. It doesn't feel it feels too punishing being 6 feet from the basket OB from a roll away or something.
Yeah, I would agree. Basket, if OB is within 15 feet of a basket, it's probably too close. So I think it was good to make this one casual, not just because I'm biased and ended up in it, but Chandler also ends up in it for his bogey putt. Andrew still hasn't putted, so we're cleaning up par and bogeys over here, and the footing's terrible, and it's slick, and now I have mud caked all over my disc. But Andrew snuck through that right side on the drive, and you assume he's going to pick up an easy birdie seeing where we're putting from.
Yeah, that should be within Andrew's range. Even with a couple, minor struggles he's had on the putting green, he's smoothing most of those in.
Yep. Chandler, little disappointing bogey. It was almost a result of him not having played this hole and didn't really know what he was doing on it. Andrew a little right, but stays in, so good comeback. He bogeyed the last hole. Birdies that one, gets those 2 strokes back on Chandler that he had just given up the hole before.
Still keeping it pretty tight as a card. We'll move into hole number 11 on this next one. We're in this little, like we said, kind of tricky technical stretch. 10, 11, 12, 13. Hole 11 is uphill. Playing basically back up the hill that you just played down. But instead of going to the right, we're going to the left. You kind of want to miss this one tree in the center of the gap up by that dirt patch straight ahead and finish up to the left, and you should have a look from anywhere up there.
You're seeing one tree to miss. When I'm standing in this tee pad, I'm feeling like there's 500 trees to miss. Dustin, great shot. Andrew's also pretty comfortable with this throw. I don't know if I played this hole 200 times if I'm going to have more than 5 drives inside the circle. It is just something that I don't like the shape of. And there's nothing wrong with the hole. Like, it's a fair hole. It's a cool shot. I
It's
mean, I
just your
feel like
own
I whiffed
personal
the
game you
shot.
struggle with. See, I say one tree to miss because I square up that tree in the center of the fairway. It is in the perfect spot for where I want to throw my line.
I just missed that
You
tree by
know,
60 feet left. So
yeah, you
maybe
don't even
that's
have
why.
to worry. You're not going to
No,
come
it's
within
not.
30 feet of the hole that I'm worried about on this hole if you play it.
Yeah, you can 30. You got 30 feet one way or the other where you're trying to throw it. Chandler and I are not going to investigate that tree in any way here. We're going to investigate forehand rollers from the complete junk. Did he get kicked to the right side of the fairway?
Yeah, he hit hard and went right. I have never been right on this hole. I end up in these little tiny trees on the left a lot and have to navigate my way through there, but he's going to get up and down by the looks of it. That was pretty solid.
How good was that? And then I watched, what was it, on hole 6, I watched Dustin throw the little tiny, like, soft putter slash FD3, I guess, for him roller. I was like, that looked easy. I'll try that. It's not what you want. You don't want to be having to throw that shot, but we're at Serene. Dustin lining up 30 feet. He didn't even really get his disc to go left. This might be one of those holes where you just throw it straight and then kind of take your 30-footer. And the woes in the green continuing a little bit for Dustin.
Yeah, Andrew looks like he's about got the relatively same putt as Dustin here. And he's working his way back to his, as we talked about on the front nine, working towards another ham bone maybe.
Ooh.
He's got 2 in a row.
We got a ham bone alert. We need 2 more. So you got to watch the front nine.
Halfway to a ham bone.
Figure out what the ham bone's all about. But halfway to a ham bone is better than not being halfway to a ham bone. Chandler par. I'm taking par. Dustin also with the 3. I would be interested to look to see what the scoring average really was on that hole. It's probably right about even par. I do feel like you can get in some trouble even though it's pretty short.
Yeah, you probably, maybe like 2.8, 2.9 is what that average is. You probably see a handful of bogeys from some bad kicks and missed scrambles, but the birdies do come.
Yeah, missed scrambles, for sure. That's a very important part of playing wooded golf. And I think it's something that your top pro players do separate themselves in from maybe like the low-end MPO player, high-end advanced player, is the ability to get out of trouble. Like from where Chandler ended up or where I ended up, the ability to get up and down 80% of the time from there is a real score saver. Now we have the total opposite shot. This is downhill, and it's got to go way left. So I was talking about maybe throwing it a little straighter last hole, taking a putt. This one needs to be high, and it needs to go basically as far left as you can make a disc go.
Yeah, Andrew, I think, went Firebird on that one. I think that's a little too overstable of a disc. I think you want to play the glide left. Dustin's going MD3, and that should be a disc that'll just, glide on that hyzer line. But there are some guardian trees to miss late.
We had the same exact idea. I'm throwing a Chariot, which is the closest thing that will ever be invented to what an MD3 is, if it's not the same thing. But I want the disc that's stable enough to move left, but it's got to have glide, so it's got to float left. I hit the guardian tree. I think Dustin may have hit one and kicked kind of forward and right, so we're going to have completely different looks. Chandler going zone, and like you said, first time out here, probably a little too overstable, although it looks like he kind of, you can't really see it on camera, but when you get up there, I think he got to the edge of the circle on that.
Yeah, this is a tough angle to see the basket, but you can see a tiny little hint of yellow hanging out from the side of that tree. Dustin's maybe 50 feet, giving it a bid, not quite getting there.
Yeah, just kind of straight into the ground. I'm also about 50 feet and have the outside the circle putts rolling, thankfully, or I'd be in big trouble in this round.
Yeah, we haven't talked about it yet, but we joked in person that your circle one in regulation for looking at a birdie was very low at this point in time. But as you can see, you're a couple down, so you're converting on outside the circle putts pretty big here.
Yeah, I don't know 12 holes in if I'd thrown one par 3 inside the circle, and I think this gets me to 3 under, so still in the round. I had the par 4 that was in the circle, but even my birdies on a couple of the other holes. I guess hole 4 I was in the circle, so that's the second. Yeah, I've got one par 3 inside the circle.
I think
12
just
holes,
one.
which is unacceptable out at Camp Serene. Chandler. God, his putting stroke looks so good. You just kind of know right off his hand.
It's so clean. Like, I wish that I just had... I mean, it's just the most simple movement and clean result. And Andrew
Yeah,
missing
not
the
much.
ham bone. He's breaking
Not
it up.
much. Not much to say about that. I know there is frustration for all of us when we miss putts that are that length. We are in October here. You know, the weather's getting a little colder. You're kind of getting used to your putters not being as soft as they are in the summertime. Andrew putts with McPro AVRs that are super hard, so I wonder if in the wintertime it is a little harder to keep consistent grip on a putter that's that stiff.
Yeah, and if there's any moisture out there, could have some slick grip issues on the hand. But we're moving on. Hole 13. Another different shot shape from these past couple holes. We're going straight with a forehand or maybe a backhand turnover. More people, I think, are going to throw the forehand line. Not very long hole. It definitely plays a lot shorter than it looks.
No one told me not to throw a Firebird no matter how soft I was going to throw it. And as a result, it looks like a good shot. And I get back there and I'm 40 feet long with no rollout, and that's where it flew to. So that was lack of knowing what was going on. Chandler,
Going
extreme?
back to that extreme, yeah, I think he just said, "No, Scott threw a Firebird. Maybe I'll throw extreme because he's, at these holes he's blind."
Which extreme doesn't go as far, thankfully, for Chandler. But we both hit the line. It's what you want to do and what you need to do on this hole. Ooh, Dustin, a little yank, and it actually gets across the creek, thankfully. The creek is out of bounds on this hole.
Yeah, this one is a much more noticeable creek than the on hole 10. So this one will play out of bounds, and Andrew is trying to find it.
Yeah, maybe having some grip issues. You've seen it on a couple putts, and then that one looked like it just slipped straight out of the hand. He's in a tough spot, and this is not a hole you want to be taking a 4 on.
No. This hole's pretty short. If you just hit the gap, you're going to find yourself most likely in circle 2, and that's a great scramble shot.
What a shot. What a shot. Maybe classic rock. I think he has that white one with the Huck Lab die on it. Looked like what it was. Dustin, probably 80 feet here.
Yeah, this is definitely outside circle 2, and he's converting on the birdie.
Yeah, make up for one of the short ones a little bit. What a putt. And we have a big old backup on the next tee. Like, I don't know, 3 groups over there. And a couple of them were making some pretty good noise for that putt that he drained from downtown, and deservingly so.
Yeah, that was an exciting putt. As you even saw yourself come into frame, you were like, "Dang, dude, I see you tossing that in." I mean, that's
right?
This is not a hole that you really want to miss. So picking up, your birdie from outside circle 2 it works. It's 2 on the
Dustin and I's
scorecard.
drives, yeah, we're 130 feet from each other probably, from where he was to where I am, and thankfully we both throw the putts in, and we're gonna walk off just like we parked the hole.
Yeah. We'll see where Chandler is, but it looks like Andrew's going to be tapping in his par, so Chandler must have just based this thing.
Yeah, what an upshot. The most impressive shot on the hole was Dustin's putt. The second most impressive shot was Andrew's scramble, and then comes Chandler's drive.
Yeah, those were both, really good shots on the hole.
So we're starting to see some scores get put together. 3 of us get to 4 under, and now there's some guys for sure on other cards that have separated from where we are a little bit, but we're in it. We have a chance. We've got a par 4 coming up after this commercial break here in just a second that is shorter and scoreable. So we're going to get back to that in just a second, but we're going to kick it off to a sponsor real quick.
This video is brought to you by Resistance Discs. Head over to resistancediscs.com and use code CHSports at checkout to get free shipping on any order over $25. Thank you to resistancediscs.com, and let's get back to the video.
All right, as we talked about, hole 14, it's probably not 455 is my guess, and I'm going to argue that it's not a par 4, but the scoring separation on this hole is crazy because there's 2 gaps, right? I'll let you kind of explain what those gaps are and how the hole plays, but if you hit the aggressive gap, you get an eagle putt. If you go for the safe gap, you get a pretty much guaranteed birdie.
Yeah, down the right side here of this path, if most players can go putter and just play a little technical par 4 and get the birdie look. It's really not that tricky. But as you'll see, I think everyone on this card is going to risk it for the chance at a 2 and kind of navigate through a somewhat lucky line, but you really just got to set it on the right angle and get through some trees. But there is lots of danger if you do kick, because you are normally throwing these high to try to get through and get the carry.
It's a lucky line for sure. The only skill is getting it on the right angle on this hole, and other than that, it's kind of close your eyes. And I don't think any of us are picking out necessarily one gap. We just watched the whole group in front of us, and maybe the two groups in front of us because we were so far backed up. Everybody was throwing down the left side, and I think as a group, maybe Dustin had played this hole, but the rest of us walk up to this and we're like, we don't know what to do. All right, everyone else is going that way. Let's try it.
Yeah. And like you said, could be luck. It's lucky. I somehow through my week of showing people around this course, I managed to get the 2-3 times in a row, and I felt like I was doing Paul Macbeth things, as some people would say, like getting the eagle on all these par fours. But as you can see, Dustin could be in a little bit of trouble and could be potentially taking a 4 if he doesn't get up and down from hitting a little early left.
If he had went 10 feet farther, he's in taking a 5 territory, not even a 4.
Very much so. It gets dangerous as you go over there.
Thankfully, he was back, so I'm about 55, maybe 60 feet. And why throw it inside the circle when you can just throw it in the basket from outside the circle?
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. A little mid-range, and then cash a 60-footer for your eagle. Your eagle birdie look.
Yeah, well, probably a birdie. But that is inside that circle in regulation. We have not had very many of those. That's like my third one for the day, including the other par 4. Eagle, and we're counting it as circle 1 in regulation.
Yeah, you're attacking these par 4s, and you're getting the drives in the circle in regulation, but we got to see if you can convert some of these par 3s.
They've been a struggle so far. Chandler, good luck for Eagle himself. Just a little bit wide right, probably from 40. But guaranteed tap in 3. Andrew, great, right? This is
absolutely. Yeah, this is where you'd like to be, getting your opportunity for the 2.
Yep. Cashes in. So, I'm not taking exclusive rights to the quote unquote Eagle. Andrew's going to join me in that group, and there was a handful of them throughout the day. This hole for the MPO field definitely played what should have played as a par 3. The other divisions, it might have been a little more dicey for, so the scoring average for the day may look like it should be a 4. In all actuality, we're all trying to get the 2 on it, though.
Yeah, I think we looked at some of the scores of another B tier that was run out here earlier this year, and I think the average score on this hole was somewhere around like a 3.5 to almost a 3.7 for the MPO field. So you're definitely getting a lot of 3s. You're getting some handful of 2s. The 4s are coming, but there are probably some 5s and maybe more out there to really change the scoring separation.
Yep. And now all of a sudden we're back in it. 6 under, 6 under, 5 under, and Dustin's even putting some together and has got to 3. So moves are being made. This wasn't necessarily the part of the course that we were supposed to score super well on. Well, maybe these last 4 holes that we're coming into right now. 15, 16, 17, 18 are definitely a stretch where you can get some birdies. We kind of got through that 10 through 13 stretch pretty well as a group.
Absolutely. Definitely a little technical, shorter stretch, but you guys took advantage of it for sure. And we're back out to, an open hole. Something that's not super serene at this point.
Yeah, it feels like a relief, right? You get back out into the open. The pond's not really in play on this. It's more of a visual thing than anything else. The only way it's going in the pond is if you saw your forehand off short right, or if you take a backhand and you're trying to throw a hyzer like at the bridge. Maybe you hit the bridge and end up in it. I don't know. I don't think this is a hole that you should be anywhere near the water on. And in all actuality, there's not much of an excuse to not be within 20 or 30 feet of this basket. Andrew, not so much.
My Raptor definitely disagrees with you. I think I've thrown the same Raptor in about the same spot in the pond over and over again. This hole, I don't know what it is. You're coming through all these holes, just, playing through the woods, and then all of a sudden it's throw this forehand and, commit to your shot and don't throw it in the water. And if you don't commit to your shot, you can find yourself in the drink. But luckily, the owner of the course, James, gets everything out of here probably eventually. and you've got a very good chance of getting your disc back if you're naming numbers on it out at Serene. It's a pretty cool thing.
We need to get you a less stable Raptor or something that can glide to the basket. Andrew is going to need a putter to glide a lot from in the woods there. Not an opportunity to make birdie on one that you really want. And a cool feature to this hole is what you're going to see Dustin and Chandler both deal with here. Dustin's 12 to 15 feet away from the basket and is going to a knee and has a pretty impeded putt. And this is where being 6'4", whatever Chandler is, does not help him.
Yeah, the Chanimal is going to struggle on this one for sure. This is one of those natural bunkers that occurs out at Serene where we throw you into what we call Serene putts, where you're on a knee, you're straddled out, maybe you're throwing a turbo putt over a large fern, like something like that. It gets tricky and technical sometimes in the green. You can find yourself 20 feet away with no luck.
Chandler's got Sasquatch on his logo, or Bigfoot on his logo, for his name that he uses for his Tour Series discs and stuff. He needed Sasquatch to come in and walk down on top of some of the stuff that he had to putt through there. But good putt. We were three of us real close. Andrew yanked that drive way over to the left. And for the first time, honestly, this whole round, Andrew doesn't have the lead on the card anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just picked up your ham bone at this point, but a little bit better because you have the eagle in there too.
5 down through 4?
I think you are in that stretch.
If not, I got an opportunity to get there here. 311 feet. This reminds me so much of the second shot on hole 16 East at Milo for the Beaver State fling settings, like how you have to kind of throw the forehand, get up over the logs that are on the ground, except at that hole, you would give anything to only be 300 feet away and not like 400 feet away throwing that second shot. But I went Firebird. Chandler throws Comet.
Yep, he goes back to that Big Z Comet that he is trusting a lot on this course today.
And why not when it's going to fly like that? Those things have such a unique flight where they just glide to the right the whole time and never want to move. He gets a little tap off a tree and then a big tap off of the pole and has now a drop in 2.
Yeah, Chandler channeled his inner MJ on that Comet shot. He threw it, looked right over to hole 1, the people, because he knew it was good, and he said, "What do you guys think?" As he bases that one.
Dustin, I assume MD3, sliding it up, is going to have a 25-footer from there. You want to get into the dirt, but where Dustin and I are at is putting.
Andrew most likely going back to one of his red Firebirds, skipping it up to about 20, 25 feet. You guys are all going to have a look at inside the circle with the birdie. This might be one of your first, on a par 3, greens in regulation.
Yeah, 2 in a row, some would say. Got last hole was definitely inside the circle. And
your drives are heating up.
Yeah, I'm padding the stats now. Chasing the circle 1 in regulation. That one was right at the edge of the circle. And uphill, felt good. Probably the best 30-footer that I'd thrown that whole day.
Nice birdie from Andrew, and just some cleanups basically for Dustin and Chandler at this point.
You can see that glow-in-the-dark chain in there just swinging back and forth because it's loose.
Yeah, it's just plastic chain in the center. Yeah, unfortunately, we were joking about this before. They're not actually glow-in-the-dark. They're just super UV reactive. So if you hit them with the black light, they light up. But there's some sweet glow golf to be had out Serene in the summertime if you ever get a chance to go out there.
It's our first star frame as a group. Only took us 16 holes in the featured group to get our first star frame. We've got another chance coming up here on hole 17, and this is a really unique shot, and I think one that we're not forced to throw very often. Double Mando. The hole's not super long. We're all going to throw putters, maybe a mid, but it's got to be so high and not go left, which is kind of a tough thing to do.
Yeah, you definitely hit it on the nail on the head right there. You want to just get something that's going to flip up maybe and then just helicopter down. You'll see some players kind of force something over to swing it one way or the other and flex it back towards the basket, but this is a weird technical shot because you can see the basket through that gap in the trees, but no one is going to be going straight at it through that low gap. Everyone's going to be going high here.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of throwing a thumber, and then it just didn't line up real well for like the angle that you had to hit it and kind of how the branches are. So it's almost a mandatory backhand putter or mid-range shot. Chandler, zone, yanked out to the right, but that thing's so stable that that's definitely the desired flight that he wanted. Dustin goes back to his sensei and misses this left kind of over by where I did. We'll see which one of us kind of where we ended up. But Andrew going Star Classic Rock, I think that's what he's throwing all over this course.
Yeah, he's got that little bit of right turn out of his hands, swinging back. You don't see it, but that's going to be pretty ideal. I think that's going to pay off for him really well.
Yeah, real good. Dustin snuck out here to 45 or 50 feet, and now is an outside look for birdie. This is one that you got to be a little careful with. Thankfully, that stopped pretty quick. It is kind of downhill away from where we're putting from. And if it rolls into those bushes, it's kind of just a wall.
Yeah, I remember in practice a couple guys that I played with just really punched him deep into those woods, not really realizing how close it is to the basket and not far off the tee, and it gets thick back there quick.
Yep. I'd had enough of throwing it in the circle, so I figured we'd put another jump putt in just for good measure. The little stepper from about 35. And some days when those are feeling good, they're automatic, and it was kind of cool to see some of them on video. I cannot count on doing that all 3 rounds, though. I got to find a way to throw some better drives.
Dustin's just cleaning up his par, and Chandler and Andrew are close. If Dustin's just still putting out there, this should be pretty routine for Chandler.
Yep, good drive with that zone, but he's 4 feet probably from not having a putt. So.
Oh yeah.
But good drive. 10, 15 feet from the basket, tap it in. Andrew's even closer. As you can see, his disc still on the ground. They both got their discs to go right off of their hand. Dustin and I did not. We bailed out to the left, which is so easy to do when you're throwing that high shot with the nose of the disc up. I threw stud, probably a real similar thing to the sensei that he was throwing. So 3 birdies, 1 par, and now the scores have become completely respectable, and we know that one or a few of us will probably remain on lead card for next round.
Yeah, my prediction was somewhere around 9 down was going to be the average score, the average hotter scores of the day. I figured someone could pop off maybe an 11 to 13, but you'd have to get pretty hot to do it. But 8 or 9 should definitely keep you in the mix towards the top.
Yeah, last hole, filler hole, something that's not part of the course that got added that you said James had cut out just totally himself.
Yeah, absolute shout out to James for basically building this hole for me. We wanted to use both of those combined hole par 4s. James likes it's 15 to 16. I like 9 to 10. So we said, hey, we got to get another hole in there somewhere if we're going to do it. And I came out here, found this little 6 foot wide path up between the cabins and the house, marked out some trees, and I said, hey, you think you could clear this out? And he said, no problem, I'll have it ready by the tournament. And he texted me the next morning after I had left the course at about 4 p.m. and he's like, got it all done. It should be ready to go tomorrow when you get out here.
It's funny, there's 2 lines. So Chandler and I take the right line. Mine got through. Chandler hit a tree that you can't see from the tee, but thankfully ended up in an easy forehand upshot spot. Andrew and Dustin both tried to go in the left gaps, which I didn't see work a whole lot, even though from the tee it looks like the cleaner of the 2 lines. Andrew kicked way down the hill to the left, and this is not where you want to be. And then Dustin actually kicked significantly right, kind of back into the last fairway.
Yeah, Dustin he is about probably 60 feet just right of 16's basket. Getting close to the field that you guys were throwing in on hole 16. This is a weird position to be in.
Looking at this on camera, I don't even comprehend where he is. So, I don't know. But good upshot. I mean, he got it inside of where my drive ended up, and I'm sitting right at the edge of the circle, and this is to shoot double digits.
Oh, no.
I didn't shoot double digits. That one's as tough to watch on camera as it was. I guess it missed the pole, but the whole disc was inside the chains, flipped it sideways, went out the back. You're going to have one of those per tournament.
It happens.
A little disheartening
to see
it on the last hole where you don't really have a chance and you got to kind of stew about it all lunch. But Who's where are we
This
at
is
here?
Dustin. Yeah.
Dustin's
Throwing another one of his Serene forehand rollers.
third shot with the softest putter forehand roller you may ever see. And then Andrew, good cleanup for par here, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a good save from how far left off the tee he got. Good save from him.
And just cleanups. You can see the bag on putt with Dustin, who's ready to get into round 2, go get some lunch. Like you said, we didn't know where anyone was at. There's no live scoring for this event. There's no service at Camp Serene at all. So for the first time probably since the shutdown for COVID, we actually had to keep score on paper scorecards, and it was a weird concept. We had to count them up at the end of the round. I think Andrew was trying to count them up. That was a disaster. It took us a while. It's like we forgot what we were doing, but we got them all
Yeah.
right. They were all good. There was no scoring errors, but yeah,
There
it was
was
weird
no
looking at
scoring
scorecards.
errors round 1 from the tournament. So I was thankful that everyone still remembered how to count to approximately like 75 at the worst case scenario.
Yeah, well, it was weird. I'm glad the PDJ live scoring thing is, and UDisc, for what it's worth, are just incredible for what they've done for accuracy, for ease of using, and it's so cool to get to watch live scoring and see where people are at. So we'll have that for round 3 when we go out to Dexter. But round 1 recap, really solid back 9 from our group. A little struggles on the front. Andrew was a little better maybe than the rest of us play-wise on that side, but any takeaways from you for this?
No, I think a lot of people played really well. I mean, as you can see with our leaderboard here, there is a big lock at 8 under par. I think we went all the way down to the 3rd card. I was scrambling to figure out what everyone's PDGA number was to figure out where everyone's going to shake out in the cards. But Jared Gogol, which setting an actual tournament record, 12 under par for round 1. That is really hot.
So thank you guys for joining us, and we will catch you on part 2.
Hey guys, Colin here with CH Sports. I just wanted to give a huge shout out to my coverage sponsors. These videos would not be able to come to life without these people's help, so I really appreciate it. There's plans starting as low as $3 a month, and every single dollar helps grow the channel. If you would like to see your name or business listed in the credits of every single one of my videos, please head over to patreon.com/chsports.